printmaking work, or are you a geology student on the side here? Okay, I was hoping to get this finished before the stream started. I've had an early start this morning. This is not going to be an embossing stream. It's going to be a carving stream, but I didn't quite get finished. So I have about 10 more sheets to go on this one before we move on to the real work today. It's one of our back numbers. This is from the Mystique series. And these were printed by Kawai-san. I get her name wrong. She's changed her name from Kanai to Kawai. So just a few minutes of embossing here, about 10 sheets, and then we'll move on to the normal work. As you can see, it's another wet day here in Asakusa. The neighborhood is not happy, of course, because all the restaurants and stuff, this is their big chance, the weekend. And here we are with a rainy day. It's been a really nice weather the last few days. It's been chilly, but that's okay. But now, just when they want all their business, bang, in comes the rain. So it doesn't affect us, we're closed, of course. Did offline chat check out the paper? The paper is out. There's one printer coming today. It's Ishikawa-san, and she sent me an email in the middle of the night. She sent me an email. No, actually before I went to bed, she sent the mail saying she will be here early this morning and please pick up 2 packages. It's funny, you know, she's, I guess I could talk about this. It's okay. It's not insulting to her. She's working for us as a printer, and of course, she doesn't work at home. Her home is whatever, certain size. They don't want to make a mess at home, or her husband doesn't like it or something. I don't know why. So she does all her printing here. She was off for a month or so back when the virus was at the peak, and now she's here. She comes maybe 3 days a week to print here. And her pattern, because she doesn't want to go at rush hours, so she comes early in the morning, about 6:30 or 7 or 7:30, and then goes home in the mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock or so. And she's doing a really good job. She's working mostly on the prints for this year's subscription series, and that's what she's up to today. But there was an experience, I don't know, X months ago, half a year ago or something, I don't remember. I went up there, and I go in the room there to look at the printers, and she doesn't rush and hide something quickly. It wasn't that dramatic, but she clearly she was doing something that, whatever, she thought I shouldn't look at or something. So I'm okay, whatever, no problem. But I did have to talk to her for a while, and I had to sit there and chat. And I did see what was on her desk. It was a block. It wasn't our work. It was a different wood block. She was printing, not our work. And was this moonlighting? No, of course. What she's doing is she herself really likes printmaking. She was a hobbyist before she came here to learn. This is why she came. She was enjoying doing it as a hobby, wanted to learn how to do it better, went to see Asuka-san to learn more about carving there. And she came here to sort of be a bit productive making simple prints and then learn what she could. That was 8 or 9 years ago. So anyway, the point of the story is she is also she's making prints on her own, not just the work she's doing for us. And she's making a series of books. She's actually making woodblock printed books with about 10 pictures in each one and a cover and all that sort of stuff, totally, absolutely made by Woodblock Prints. And the theme is always the same, the family dog. And they're really cute. And she's not the world's greatest artist. She's not trying to be. It's a hobby for her. She's enjoying making pictures that warm-hearted feeling about their family member, their third family member. I should maybe ask her if I can grab a copy and keep it here so I can show it on the stream. That would be fun, I guess, if she'll let me. I doubt she'll let me do that because she's pretty shy about stuff. Anyway, long story short, point was I went up to the fridge today and there's a message. She's got 2 yellow dots. Please take out 2 packages. And one package is the test printing she's going to be doing on the December print for this year. And the other package is her latest volume, and it's volume 5 in this series of books about her pet dog. Volume 5, but we're talking about totally, absolutely everything carved and printed. Multicolored pictures, every block carved, all the text. It's not reams and reams of wall-to-wall text, but it's captions and stuff like that. They're all carved in woodblock. And she doesn't like, it's not her business, she just does it because she wants to have these objects. And I guess she makes I don't know, half a dozen copies or something, I don't know. What we're embossing today, so this is the Mystique Prints. This is the series of prints I made back in, I don't know, no idea, 2006 or 7 or 8 or something like that. I really don't remember. 2010, somewhere around there, I don't remember. It was a set of 18 prints I made called the Mystique of the Japanese print. And it was trying to show, there was a Shinhanga example, there was a Sumizuri example, there was all kinds of different prints in it. It was a set of 18, and the secret is now out. I made them 2 at a time to sort of cut my work in half, right? If you make 2 sheets on a single piece of paper, you're making 1 print, but when it comes time to sell it, you cut it and you sell it twice. It's not quite that simple, but whatever. Who am I talking about? Sorry, it was Ishikawa-san. Ishikawa Yoko-san, so she's really quiet. You won't find her in our videos. You won't find her on our blog. She's really private. Doesn't want her name and face and all that stuff. It's hard to say with the staff that's like that. Suga-san also was really, really shy at first, but it turned out once we did push her a little bit, she enjoyed helping make videos. It was just, she was the sort of Japanese lady, has to be not forthright, And Ishikawa-san is also doing that, and I'm not sure if I should say, okay, you can be private, or if I should push her a little bit more and say, come on, let's do this stuff, you'll have fun, Anyway, I will ask her about the book, if we can borrow a copy to show here on the stream. Or books. I can already guess what the answer will be, but I'll try. Also, what we're doing here, the embossing that's going on is the Baron mark embossing. And there's two barons here. One is oriented this way and one's oriented that way, because these 2 prints, as you can see, this is a horizontal print, so the Baron mark has to be that way oriented, and when they're cut apart, this will be a vertical print, and the Baron has to be oriented that way. This is a Hasui reproduction, of course. His copyright expired just the year I did this. Nice book, nice embossing around the edge. Oops, upside down. Oh, this massive embossing is going to be cut in half. It's going to be sliced right about halfway through there. This is the toughest print in the series. You've got to print it strong enough to get the hair black, but without messing up the eyes. This is tough. Questions here. How many copies does Ishikawa-san do of each book? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. And she doesn't sell them, so don't start going that way. It's just, she just wants to have that object. So she carves the blocks and makes literally a few copies, I guess, for her family members. If I asked her to get some copies for the Moko Hankan collection, I don't know what she'd say, maybe. She's really, really shy about this stuff, Look, you're almost finished. Just 2 or 3 copies here left. Well, in fact, that may, that's it. I'm certain she won't sell those books, absolutely, because it's part of it too. It's her family pet. There's a couple of things about it. So she's put, many of the pages are episodes. Like there's some episode where the pet was, in the kitchen begging for food, and they did something or whatever. So each one of these is a miniature story, which really means something to her. It's some memory she has of her family dog and stuff like this. And she would clearly say this isn't interesting to anybody else. Absolutely, she will say that. So I'm sure she's not going to distribute these at all. But I would like to see them. Corner clip, yeah, that one's clipped, but this one isn't. So when you're making 2 like this, she will maybe, look, you can see what's happened. There's an unrepairable problem on this one. This is the Hasui side, and there was a piece of blue. When she was grinding the pigment, clearly she didn't grind it quite carefully enough, and there were still lumps left in the pigment. So this one, when she was printing that cloud, there was a lump of pigment. And I could dig it out, but that's a big, deep, embossed lump, and it would leave a white hole. We could do microsurgery. I could dig it out, find another bad copy of this print, get some similar colored washi, tamp it in, but it just no, it would take an hour's work. It's just not worth it. So she's cut the corner off this one, but this one, the partner, was still okay. So she's cut half corners off, and I can't emboss just one, so. Yes, so the cut corner is the printer's message to me. Even in case you're too stupid to notice, this one shouldn't go out to the customers. You know? This one too, there's something bad with this one, but this one came through okay. The cut corners thing, actually, it's a bit insulting for me what she's done here. She's following the pattern that's set by Kubota-san, our other printer. And the deal is we send a batch of paper. We send, say, 100 sheets of paper. And we pay them for the good prints. This is just the way the business works. They get paid piecework on the good ones. And we know there's going to be some copies that don't make it through, either because there was a defect in the paper, or maybe they made a slip up or something like this. There are copies that don't make it through. So once it comes back, I would count the stack. If there were 95 good ones, I pay them for 95. But what do I do with the other 5? And there's a little bit of well, suppose there's a lack of trust there. I pay her for 95, and then really I actually turn around and sell the other 5 copies. It's possible I could do that. So for her to chop those corners off is saying, hee hee, you ain't going to sell this one, guy. You know? So it's a tad, actually, it's a little bit insulting to me for her to do that. It's not, it's the standard pattern, so it's not her standing up and insulting me. And no, we don't do factory seconds. That print won't leave here. They go in boxes upstairs, and I should destroy them, actually, but we sort of don't have it in our heart to destroy them. There's a thing about defects like this. You know, that's a defect right now. It's a big black blob in the sky, and I can't obviously sell it. We don't want that thing out there. But when I get the old prints from Yahoo Auction or something from 150 years old, lots of them have problems or cuts or scrapes or bangs or nicks or bad registration or something. And once it's 150 years old, it doesn't matter anymore. So that's sort of in the back of my mind, that print will go into the folder here. Nobody's going to see it during my lifetime. But at some point in the future, it'll be a cool little antique print. I don't know. I should just burn them. I know. I should just burn them. Well, yeah, it's the same as anything. A car dealership, you know, they don't sell a car that's got a scratch on it. But once you buy it and drive it off the lot and you scratch it in the supermarket parking lot the next day, you've still got an okay car, you know. But the dealer can't sell it with a scratch on it. Last copy, here's the last one. Okay. Get this out of the way and then we get on with some real work today. What the Ome staff did about some of these defect copies, we had a bunch of defect great waves, and that was really sad because there might be a beautiful, beautiful great wave copy, and yet somewhere in the sky there's a gaboom, you know, something like that, that blue mark. But the rest of the print is fantastic. So the Ome staff came to me with an idea. This is a couple of years ago, I guess, when the Great Wave was just fresh out. And what they did was they cut a chunk out of the middle of the defect print, keeping away the other stuff. And they made book covers out of it. They made 3 or 4 of these and brought them to me as a project. Dave, let's do this. Let's sell the defective Great Waves as book covers. They cut them to the right size, put them inside this plastic sheet, wrapped them around a book, and there it was, a book cover. And they thought it was a good idea. And I guess it's an okay idea, but I said no. No, I'm not going to sell $2 book covers of a print that we're also selling for $135. just because there's a dot in it. It devalues the thing for the people who bought the real one from us, I think. Okay, enough sideshow. Let's do the real job. Okay, now the stream today. What is the content of today's stream? No, we can't recycle the washi. There's too much pigment in it. And we've talked about this with Iwano-san. And he wants, for recycling, what he wants is offcuts from around the outside with no pigment, and he wants them with no sizing. So we can't do that. We size our entire sheets first, then cut trim for the paper making. So we've been through this with Iwano-san. He says, I can't do it for recycling if there's pigment and if there's nikawa, if there's glue in there. So recycling for us with the paper maker is zero. There was a guy, near my home in Ome, there was a neighbor. He was old then. This is 20 years ago, so I was 40-something. He would have been 80-something at that time. He's an old guy. And he made prints as a hobby. And he wanted all my little offcuts from washi. And I saved him up months at a time and gave him this big bag of tiny offcuts with washi. And he made his own paper with it. And he didn't care if there was pigment in there or whatever. He pulled out the darkest places, put them in a vat, boiled them up, made a little screen, and made his own paper. And it wasn't like archival pure white, but it doesn't matter. It made beautiful, beautiful, nice little washi. And he made his New Year cards and stuff on that. So we do keep our washi offcuts. There's bags and bags and bags of them, both in Ome and over here. But Iwano-san, the paper maker, can't take them. The only person it would really be of use for is a hobbyist who would, make his own little batches of paper. And we've got tons of it now, tons of it. There was a question I missed. We had a question about registration. Could you show the kento? You mean on the embossing I was doing? I'm not so sure what you mean. Somebody who doesn't know how the registration system works, you mean? I don't know. Where's the sheet I had? Not sure about the question, John. Not sure about the question. Oh, on this block. Okay. Hi. So we're talking about the fundamental explanation of registration. Okay, let's zoom out. There we are. It's awkward to see here. There's two corners. There's a corner mark. There's a corner mark here, carved into the paper, carved into the block. I don't have a piece of paper, nothing. There's a corner. There's a corner on the block here. Click, paper goes in, and there's a straight line here. Paper goes in. So these two spots are where the paper will go on this piece of wood. And all the blocks in the set, there's only one existence so far, but all the blocks in the set will have the same thing. There will be a corner mark cut and a straight line. And for each of the cases, the paper will go into the corner, into the line, and that's how we line things up. With this only one partial finished block here, there's nothing I can really explain beyond that. So let's get to work. Let's get to work. I am running late here. I've got to get going on this. Someone says he plays a mean saxophone. I hope you're not talking about me, because I played an awful saxophone. I mean, the instrument was beautiful. The player was nothing. I was a terrible, terrible sax player. I nearly made it as a flute player, a professional classical flute player, was doing well there. But sax was as I should have never started it, but player. Questions. When you say offcuts, do you mean the unprinted trims? No, so the paper offcuts, when we size it, it's the whole thing. When we make this print, for example, there's going to be 8 of them cut from the sheet, and all around the outside there'll be a centimeter or a half inch, whatever, of loose little white thin strips. They're like I had some here, just offcuts. This cuts where the edges are cut off. We've got bags and bags and bags and bags of them. And they end up being pretty heavy. Someone's going to say, "Hi, ship me a batch of them." whatever. They're heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay. What video camera I'm using to stream with? It's a JVC Handycam. That's all. It's your cheap, nothing. I don't know what model it is. It's a simple JVC Handycam. We tried using a Canon EOS series, but the focus is a problem. When you put it on autofocus, it zooms in, out, in, out, in, out. These Handycams will really work quickly on the focus. You can see the focus is changing here. It does it without making a horrible change in the video here. Just a JVC Handycam. The one outside is a Sony. We change them every couple of years. They're cheap and dirty. Okay, let's go. Anyway, what I was saying was, what's the stream today? We're going to be carving show and tell. We have two. I'm not sure which one to pick. I have two packages that arrived yesterday. Two packages, and they are both really, really, really interesting things. And there's another package that is going to arrive this morning, perhaps during the stream, perhaps later. And I am extremely sad about it. It's an incredible, incredible thing. It's a rare one. So the kind of stuff that we only get once every few years. And I can tell you what it is because I don't have it to show you yet. It's a set of Tokaido prints. And the reason I'm unhappy about it is because it came up on auction the day after I posted that video. I procrastinate on that Tokaido video for 4 freaking months. I procrastinated. Finally got it done, uploaded it, was really enjoying the comments from people. Wake up the next morning, and in my auction feed is an item related to the Tokaido that, oh my God, that would have been the perfect centerpiece for that video. But as I said, the video was up and out there, and you can't edit YouTube videos once they're up. You can just whatever, you can take them down, but you can't edit them. And anyway, that stuff, I bought it instantly. I bought it straight away. It's been taken a few days before delivery, and it's due to come here this morning by Tokaido service. So I'm not really sure what to do. I've kind of teased it to you now. And I'm thinking that maybe I shouldn't show it to you. We've got other good show and tell material today. I shouldn't show it to you. And I might make an appendix to that Tokaido video and just tell us the exact story, what happened. That here we are, the timing didn't work. And let me show you something. And it's going to be one of the highlights of our entire collection. And that's going to be coming this morning by Tokaido. So, the guy delivers sometimes during the stream. So we'll see. Four months procrastination in one day. I tell you, somebody up there is just saying, I'm going to mess with this guy, I'm going to mess with this guy. He thinks he's so smart, I'm going to mess with this guy. It's absolutely happening. Oh, camera's off. Okay. Look at that. Wanted, professional camera crew. Sorry guys, sorry. sorry, thank you. John's got a Tokaido set. I don't remember, John. What, tell me more. What size, what edition, whatever? That reminds me, John's got the Tokaido set. He says, I'm thinking of putting something together to talk about the places. Reminds me, there's another friend. I've got a couple of friends, actually, not just one or two. I've got 3 or 4. Another friend, a guy who lives in France. And he's been a good friend collector since the Surimono time, when I was doing Surimono albums. This is years and years ago. He saw the Tokaido video the other day. And he said, Dave, you should have mentioned my website. And I'm like, oh, now you remind me. This is a French friend of mine. His name is Serge. And he's got a website, an intense, deep website, not on the Tokaido, but on the Kisokaido. He's taken all the stages. He's got a set of the prints. He researched the stages, and he's put a comprehensive website up about one of the other roads in Japan, the Kisokaido. It's the road that runs inland to what we now call Nagano, and then down to the Kyoto area. So when you get a minute, have a look at this. And he's gone deep, 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 deep. I mean, the video I made was just whatever, just touch here, touch here, touch here, touch here. Serge has walked the thing, not the whole thing. He's walked a bunch of it and researched the whole thing. Sorry for the sidetrack, but that reminded me. So John, you're talking about thinking about putting something together. Check out Serge's website here. And if you've got some time, go for it. So forget his English. The guy's French, whatever. I mean, his English is 10 times way better than my French. So forget that. Oh, good morning. 石川さん、ちょっといいですか？ちょっとだけでいいですか？はいはい。今日ストリーム始まった時にいろいろチャットができたんですが、いつもの人たちが Did you take the paper out? 紙出しましたとか、もう本当に助かりますよ、助かります。すみません、ありがとうございます。そう。ちょっと待って、This is 石川さん who's here to print upstairs. English, I can speak in English, so they can understand. They asked me, did you remember? So I did. Yeah, I said, today it was 2. I took 2 packages out. Why 2? For one person. So I was explaining why is there 2 packages. One is your normal work, the December print, and one is the other, your special private project. So they're asking, what's a private project? What's a private project? So it's okay, no deep privacy here, but I explained that Ishikawa-san had a pet dog and she's been making books about this. And this is book number 5, I think. So book number 5. So you know what they're saying. Can we see this? Okay. Can we see this? So can you, just whatever, they would like to see what you're doing and what you're making. So can you bring one day so that I can show it here? Or? Okay. Nobody's critical here. Everybody just want to know what's going on. And hey, she said, okay, all right. They can't see you. I'm sorry. I can't move this too much. The camera's there, so I'm sorry. So, do I? I should be more sorry.
そうだよ、増えてるからね。
そう。
おかしいね。柴犬です。柴です。
Look at this. Thank you. Great. Look at this. じゃあ次回ですか？わからない。
もうちょっともうできるのがもう少しかかる。
Oh, so okay. Wait a little bit. She's still working on this album, so it'll be finished. Okay. So when it's finished, so it won't be tomorrow, but hang on a little bit, and we will show this. Hey, no, thank you. Actually, we said this. I said I'll ask her, but almost certainly she may be too shy and say no, because you're such, you're so shy about this. But no, thank you very much. You can see people really.
愛しいブックなんでね。
Good.
もうね、時間忘れるよ。いつも夜ね、一人でこうやって見てるとね。愛しくて時間忘れます。
So she's saying for her, there's so many memories about her dog and stuff like this. She will sit and look at this book and remember episodes and stuff like this from her life. We don't know that. We will just see the pictures. But for her, this is something that really has, lots of meaning to show. 5 volumes.
6まで。
Okay, one more. 6で。
はい、6で終わり。
人生。
終わったから。
そうですか。じゃあ、one more volume implanted. It's going to be 6-book set. Okay, thank you very much. She said yes. She said yes.
ありがとう。
I guess when you're talking with a woman and the answer is, she said yes, that's probably not what you're talking about most of the time. But okay. 6 volumes. I didn't know that. I knew she was on number 5. I haven't seen them all, you know. I think I saw the first one because she was asking me about something. How do we do the binding? Because we'd make books here. So she was asking technical questions to learn how we had made our books here. So I did see the first one, and this is 3, 4, 5 years ago. But I didn't realize she was up to volume 5. She's kind of kept the work separate, you know. There's an extra story too. After the other day, when I saw her working on this, she was saying, well, I'm sorry to be using up the time here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This workshop is yours. I'm happy to have printers who are interested in printmaking. She's being paid piecework, so it doesn't matter to me if she stays 24 hours here working on her own projects. But she felt it's the company and I shouldn't mix and stuff like that. Super polite, super careful, super thoughtful. You know. Wedding stream. The lady has her family. Don't say things like this because people in Japan get touchy about stuff like that. You know, there's things you can joke about, and there's things you can't joke about. And you can joke about it here, and I can joke about it. But Japanese ladies can't joke about stuff like that. So if you're ever in if she was here, don't ever say something like that because it turns the mood into something that could be bad, and it spoils things. So you can't joke about stuff like that. You know? Where was I? Carving. today's Saturday in Japan, so does that mean Taran-san is here today? Taran Casey. Quite frequently Saturdays he drops in the show. Taran-san, are you here today? I don't know how you guys tell. You can always tell when somebody's in the chat or not. I don't know. Oh, Taran says, yep, I'm her. You're her. you're okay. I think maybe I pushed too much the other day when Taran dropped in. I talked about questions. So the poor guy didn't get a minute's, the poor guy didn't get a minute's rest. So I should maybe not do this. I don't know. So. Hey, Taran-san, or Casey-san, or whatever, I'm not really sure what even I should be calling you. I'm sorry, I don't know, but whatever. Your handle here is Taran, so there it is. I had a Skype chat with Jed-san last night. Last night for me, early his morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning for him. The guy's crazy, So, and he was throwing ideas around. He's got a bunch of new prints up on his website. And he said, Dave, it's been ages. We haven't made an Ukiyo Heroes print in quite a while, Let's get going. Let's do some more Ukiyo Heroes prints, And I'm like, Jed, yes, I'm not, we're busy. The problem now, we have the 3 carvers here, and we are all pretty much busy. I'm not busy full-time carving, but I'm busy full-time. John-san is full-time carving. Kawasaki-san's full-time carving. So I said, Jed, we're doing the subscription sets. I don't have the resources here at the moment to start another Ukiyo Heroes print. And he's reminding me, look, we're supposed to do 20. We did 10 of them and made a bound book. And then there's 7 more now finished. And you want to do 3 more to get another bound book. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So he starts throwing images at me. How about this one? How about this one? Look at this. This is a real good seller on my website, And he's throwing me all these images for prints that could become Ukiyo Heroes prints. And like, yeah, okay, I'd like to do this. Yes, I'd like to do this. But I don't have the resources, meaning we don't have the carver's printers. And yet here we are, Taran-san, Mr. Casey, Taran Casey's out there. He's eager beaver, ready to go, And so the point is, get ready, guy. There is an infinite amount of work waiting. Get ready, And that's not going to be up to me. I'm laughing as I say this, but the question of when we can start to hire this young man for working is not going to be my call. It's between him and Asuka-san, with the place where he's learning. He's an actual, real, official apprentice now. So this has nothing to do with me. It's up to the 2 of them to look at the work that's available and to decide when they want to get this work out in public, And Asuka-san is a traditional guy. He came through it, right up from the beginning. We're working with very strict people. And for himself, he does not want Taran-san doing work for sale yet until he thinks it's good enough, so he's going to put his own name on it. When your apprentice goes out into the world to do work, your own name also is on that stuff, So he's said to us clearly, not yet, So, and it is maybe too soon. But the point being, there is tons of work waiting, tons and tons of work waiting. Do I think this design is an allegory of individualism? I don't have any idea what this means. I'm sorry. I don't have any idea what that means. This is a pretty picture of birds. Not being sarcastic here. I'm sorry, not being sarcastic, but no. This is a picture. It's a picture of birds. When this sort of print was made in Japan, it was considered decorative objects. And I think that's the way most people look at most of these Japanese prints, as decorative objects. The idea that intellectual or philosophical concepts would be reflected in an artwork was pretty much alien to the culture here at that time. Actually, too, it's sort of alien today here, too, which is one reason why I like this stuff so much, I guess. Printmaking with meaning was never a thing here in the old days. So from my point of view, that kind of question is 100% overthinking and taking something out of its context and trying to apply meaning that was never considered. No, this is a pretty picture, period. End of story, I think. Again, that reminds me another one. I knew there was 1,000 things I was supposed to mention today. Collection. Speaking of pretty picture. Pretty picture. Let me post a link. Last night, this went up last night, and it is now open for everybody to enjoy. I showed this item some months ago. Do you remember the Favorite Flowers book? I did a YouTube video about it. The book published about 100 years ago by Hasegawa that shows Japanese flowers and stuff. It's online. We haven't written a description for it yet, but it's online. If you've got a little iPhone, forget it. Well, it'll show. But if you've got a big desktop browser, go to that link, drag it as wide as your 39-inch window will go, and take a look at those prints. Lots of conversation. I'm missing. Yeah, the meaning. Everybody's allowed to see whatever they want to see and think whatever they want to think. Of course, I'm not dissing anybody else. I'm just, for us, for the artists involved, I think, as much as I understand it, for me, these are pretty pictures. There you go. So that book is up. That's as John is mentioning. The text is done with letterpress, metal type, and all the print parts are done with woodblock. This is a mixed media production. If someone's got a link for a picture, yeah, show us. No problem at all. Oh, you've got some Ishikawa-san pictures for the dogs. It's there. She has an Insta. Go for it. Well, too much content today. Too much content. I should just ignore you guys completely and just get to work. It's not crepe paper, no. The Favorite Flowers book is nothing to do with crepe paper. It's flat, thick, rich hosho paper. The covers are hosho paper that has been embossed with a pattern to make it look like fabric. But this is not crepe paper. It's not one of the crepe books. I'm on her Insta, am I? Well, whatever, she talks about her work here, I guess. So anyway, I got to stop talking with you guys. I have got to get back to work. This is crazy. I've got to nominally do some work, otherwise there's no point to this. do next? Here, I guess. Oh, look at this. Lots of conversation. I'm missing all of this. So we have guests, do we? Bunch of new names here. Bunch of people dropped in. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for visiting. What's this? I saw that David is in my lesson planning materials for this week. No idea. Guests, 150 guests, okay, whatever. Thank you for joining. I don't know if it's clear what we're actually doing here. We're making woodblock prints, or one stage of making woodblock prints. I guess maybe the questions have already been asked, so thanks for dropping by. Get a bit closer, I think, I guess. I'm not quite sure how far we can zoom in here. So we still got a bunch of visitors here, do we? I know we should perhaps then back up just for a second here. For the regular people who know what this is all about, let me zoom out for a second. If there are lots of newbies here, people new here, what we're doing here, we're cutting a piece of wood. This is a wood block, cutting a piece of wood. And you can perhaps see the idea. There's lines on the block, and I'm cutting this in a way that leaves the area that has the lines and takes away the parts that doesn't have the lines. And the idea is once the carving is finished, we have something that looks, let me get an example of something that's finished. This is a finished one. What's happened is the lines have been left, the other areas have been taken away. Then when you put pigment on top of the whole thing, all ups and downs, rub paper on the back of it, the paper just picks up the areas of the lines and makes the picture. So this is the first block of a set, And the picture that we're going to make with this one looks something like, where is it here, where is it here? Are Just a minute, my files got all mixed up here, hang on a sec. Everything got all scrambled. Just a minute. I'm trying to find an example. We've got a finished image here. Here it is. Excuse me. Here's the image, all of it. We're carving at the moment the bits down here in this grass and reeds. And this is what it will look like, the first stage, after this block is finished. There will then be other blocks to follow that have colors. This is a mock-up. There will be a block for the color this, color that, color that. So what you're seeing is the first rough stages, the first early stages of what will be a full-color multi-wood block print. Someone's asking, can we see the March design? This is the mock-up for the March design. This is January's print for next year's series. February's print is top secret. This is the design for the March print. I don't have anything else ready for you. They're going to come one by one during the year. We're not going to show all 12 yet. We haven't really decided on all 12 yet. It gets mirrored. I'm carving it backwards, so the lettering that's on here is actually not readable. This is mirrored lettering, but when you put the paper down face down and pick it up, the reverse mirroring happens and the finished print has lettering that's correct orientation. There will be a monkey in this series. Yes, there will be a monkey in this series. Excuse me. The mirroring is not a problem. We draw the original in proper orientation. If you imagine me drawing the letter B here, draw it on thin paper, correct orientation, paste it down, face down. It's now backwards, but when we print and pick it up, it comes back the proper way. So for us, the mirroring, we don't even do anything about it. We don't even think about it. I don't draw things backwards. We draw things in normal orientation. There's no public information on this series yet. This is all preparatory work for our next year's series. We have, here's the general link to, this is our website which explains the other subscription series we have, this year's series, last year's, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever. What's happening now is prep for next year, which hasn't been announced yet. So there's nothing I can link to you for this one just yet. This will be the 2021, and it won't be Zodiac. It's just going to be a collection of nature prints, all by the same designer. How's our time? Are we okay? 9 o'clock, no problem. Delivery man, delivery man. どうもありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。青梅からですか？青梅から。
そうそうそう。
あ、よかった。Good, good, 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 good.
どうも。
どうも、Thank you. That package is prints from Ome. Our Ome shipping center has prepared some stuff. They're sending to me. Within 5 minutes of this stream finishing, they'll go into a box. FedEx is going to be here at 10 o'clock to pick them up. So I cannot fool around today. At 9:30, I have got to finish this and get packing for FedEx. It's not show and tell. This is package from Ome. There's different delivery guys come in the morning. You see the routine. This guy was from the Black Cat service. Next up will be the post office guy coming. Maybe. Taran-san's off to work, is he? Good, good, good. Go, go, go. It's fun having a Taran-san around there watching this, you know. He's not my apprentice at all. He's working with Asuka Motoharu-san from Takumihanga. But it's really interesting to compare, to feel the differences between the two of us, you know. When I came here 36 years ago, there was nobody to work as an apprentice with. The guys who were carving then, they didn't take apprentices. They didn't want to help. They were just too busy. But they also, because the printmaking world was dying for them, the traditional Japanese printmaking world, if you go back to the 1980s and 90s, it was finished. The yen was too high. Nobody was buying the stuff. There was no interest. Those guys were just working for themselves, thinking, well, this is all going to be over in a few years, and let's just run this out. So there was no chance for me to get an apprenticeship or learn from anybody else. So I came here to Japan thinking I'd like to do this, but would I be able to make a living at it? Could I sell prints? You know, the two things of being able to get good at this and then being able to make a living at it, they were two completely separate, different problems. And it turned out that over the years I was able to navigate my way through the thing and ended up doing both. Got reasonably competent at it on one side, and then was also able to figure out a way to make a living at it on the other side. This is going back, you know, to 20 plus years. So when I came, that was the situation. There was those two big problems. Should I just teach English and just play with printmaking, or could I actually turn this into a way to make a living? Now, Taran-san is coming now, here in 2019. This is not 1986 anymore, it's 2019. And he has one of those questions in front of him. Am I going to be able to get good at this? Can he study hard and work hard and have the skill and get good at this? But the other part of the question, would it be actually possible to make a living at this? That's not there for him, because the situation now is clearly different. The model is here. The work is here. The world is hugely interested in this stuff now, and the whole environment has changed. So for him to sit here, he can watch me and he can see other people, and he can, you know, clearly see there is a way to make a living here if you can get competent enough at it. And that's something that I didn't have. I had both of those things facing me at the beginning. And so it's fun to see how it's going to affect him, you know. How is his training and his work going to be different from mine? He has a professional guide, and he has a clear goal. Oh my God, I can, you know, there's work waiting if I can just get good enough, you know. So this should be, I think, this should be a pretty strong stimulus for him. Just get going, you know. I mean, there's no guarantee of jobs. If the world economy craters completely, then no, he might not be able to make a living at it. But that's nothing specific to him. Then we're all in the same position there, you know. But at least now there is a model there. There is a pattern. He can now clearly understand there's demand for this skill, you know. And the environment that I came in was full. There was no demand for this skill at all, period. You know. How long did it take to get to the make a living stage? I made my first print in 1980, rough playtime. You've seen them on the YouTube videos. 1980 was the first playtime. Played. 1986, we came to Japan. Playtime, teaching English. 1986, teaching English. I sold the first prints in 1989. So it had been 10 years from first picking up a knife, but not 10 years of steady, serious work. It was playtime, teaching English. I had a job in Canada right to 1986. So 10 years, touched the knife to selling a first print. 86, we came to Japan, still playtime, teaching English, working with the family, but the first print sold in 1989. So when I say it took me 10 years to do that, it's a bit meaningless, because like I said, I had a job for the first 6 years of that. So I don't know if it's relatable to anybody else, you know. Clap, clap, rub, rub, rub. Nervous tension, I don't know. Nervous tension. I'm missing most of this. I'm sorry, of course. I really enjoyed the other day. There was a stream where I missed most of it because you guys were so chatty. At lunchtime, I couldn't even get through it. I got through about halfway at lunchtime laughing and having my lunch sandwich and stuff like this. So I went back in the evening and tried to catch more. This one too, I have missed most of this. I'll try and catch up at lunchtime. So John's got it. 1989 was the first year of the Poets series. So that's when the hobby for me became a way to make a living. When the first Poets print, and this is the topic of the coming up YouTube video, the next one, Beginnings Part 3. It'll be how the Poets series got started. So it was my next training print. I hadn't the idea of making a Poets series. I just made one print for training. It turned out after I finished it that I realized that this was actually a big theme, an important theme that meant quite a lot to the people of Japan. So yeah, 1989, it was Heisei, the first year of the Heisei era, was when I started selling the prints, started by subscriptions. And as they say, never look back. Which is not true. Whatever. 1989. I was still teaching English for 2 more years. I overlapped for 2 years. So 1989 to 1991, I still had the English classes at home, but I was now making and selling prints, so working like just insane amounts of time. 60 hours a week of English, teaching, not 60 hours, 60 students a week, I'm sorry, I got the number wrong, 60 students of English, private students, and then 10 prints a year. And then English ended in 1991, and that was it. 1991, no more English teaching, and from then to now, it's been simply woodblock prints. Must be getting near time, is it? I can't see with glasses, without glasses. 9:15. Okay, we are up. Show and tell. Show and tell. Okay, something different today. I have good news and bad news for you. I'll give you the bad news first. These are not going to be woodblock prints that we are going to show this morning. The good news is they are interesting. When I first saw them on the auction place where I bought these, I was thinking, oh, these might be woodblock prints, but it became pretty clear pretty quickly that they are not. Vivid KP's asking, sell the needles. You can get them from any sewing store. It's just a sewing needle. It's a heavy-duty sewing needle, whatever. I don't know. I got this. Go to the place where they do canvas sewing, or they make boots, or somebody makes tents, or something like this. Okay, unopened. We have an unboxing here for what it's worth. I'm not supposed to show people's names. Okay, what this is. I said these are not woodblock prints, but this is deeply, deeply related to woodblock printmaking. We get the paper for making our prints from Fukui Prefecture. It's a family called Iwano. The Iwano family makes our paper. It's a paper specifically designed for woodblock printmaking, and that comes from Fukui Prefecture. But here in Japan, there's paper of all different types made all over the country. There's a big paper-making region in Shikoku, on the 4th island. And there's another big paper-making region, very old, near Kyoto. I think it might be Kyoto Prefecture or one of the neighboring prefectures. And the place is called the Black Valley. It's in Japanese Kurotani. And I don't know what the meaning of the place name is. It's just another place name in Japan. Black Valley, I don't think it's any deep, dark Lord of the Rings meaning. It's just simply, maybe it was a steep valley, the first people that went in there, whatever. Anyway, the Black Valley, Kurotani. And it became known as a center for making washi paper. And some of the earliest woodblock prints in Japan, the ones before the full color era, they're made on paper, not hosho paper, the white clean paper that we have these days. They were made on a bit of a darker, funkier, more funky type of paper. And Kurodani was one of the places where it came from. So there's a long history of making paper in Kurodani. Black Forest in Germany, it might not be so black, but it's just the name, you know, I don't know, maybe Mr. Black lived there or something, who knows, I don't know. So anyway, Kurodani is a washi center. And the set of objects we're going to look at, this is a set of 20 or 20 or 20, whatever, images. Now, as I said, these are not woodblock prints, but these are a set of images that show the process of paper making in Kurodani. And these are stenciled of some kind. I know it's called katazome. I don't know the process. I can't give you chapter and verse on it. If you see all the white spots here, the white places are the paper showing through. So somebody has had some kind of a stencil that they put down, and then they rub pigment through different parts of it onto the paper, one by one by one. I mean, it could be a woodblock print, but it's not. It's katazome. So anyway, the point being, this set of images, it looks like they have completely mixed them up. Ow! Whatever, that'll make it more fun. This is a set of image that shows the process of making woodblock prints in the Kurodani. And this first one doesn't even look like woodblock printmaking. I don't have any idea what that is. Let's put that aside for a minute, because most of these, maybe they are in order. Let's have a look at this. Maybe they are in order. Clear, clean water. Step one, vital for everything in woodblock printmaking. Yes, they may actually be in order. So let's look back at that step. We have here, these are little Jizo statues. Maybe this is where we start. Thank you to the gods and whatever. And this is Kurodani washi. It is textury paper. You've got big bits of chiri in here. This wouldn't be paper that we would use for our printmaking because it's too dirty and rough, but it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It has really, really texture. The order is how the paper is made. Let's go through. I said they may have got it mixed up. I don't know. There's one way to find out. Let's just go through. The water. And this is kozo fiber. This is mulberry fibers being harvested. This is what our paper is made from, is Japanese mulberry. That's what they also feed silkworms with, but it's not the same mulberry. Paper mulberry and silkworm mulberry are not the same thing. Oh, look at this. We have a double sheet of paper here. Why have they done this? Oh, nice, nice, nice. Here we go. Okay, harvesting mulberry is step one. This happens in the snow time in January. And at the moment they're not peeling bark, they're just chopping the trees. What has happened is after they chop this, it'll start growing again in the spring from the same stump. And during the spring and early summer, it starts to grow a million different things. They go back in early summer, trim, leaving just 5 or 6. They go back again, cutting off most of the leaves. And what you end up with in January is a bunch of thick, stumpy shoots that have come up from that place. He's cutting them off. Oh no, this is not in order. This is not in order. Ow. Come on, guys, get with the program. Here we are. I think that's in order. Oh no, it may be in order. Okay, sorry, it may be in order. What he's got is he's got a guillotine here, and he is chopping them into the same length, or roughly the same length, and bundling them up. So I'm sorry, I stand corrected. He's chopping those things up into the same length. Next step is those things all go into this big tub. They're all in this wooden tub. They're stacked in there, standing up. Heat underneath. They throw water in, throw water in, throw water in. The water boils. The things get totally steamed up and softened up. Then the next step with those things is this. Here's what's happening. The black bark is being pulled off these sticks. The sticks get left alone. They were used later on for making, or whatever, it's front and back. Oh, I'm confused. Some of these, this is confusing. We had that last one, but it turned out there was another print on the back of the same sheet of paper. That should come first, right? He's putting it onto the thing, and now they're steaming it. One or the other, who knows? Here we are pulling off the strips of black bark. Somebody says it looks like Okinawa. There's a style of drawing and of cutting papers in Okinawa that looks like this. Yes, very much so. So anyway, here we go. So the bark is coming off. The black bark is coming off. The wood is left behind. Here we are. Next step, dry it all through the rest of the winter. It dries outside under the snow and the sun. This is the black bark, the outer covering of the fiber. Next step. Here we go. This may still be in winter. This may be in spring. Here we go. Soften it up. Wash it, wash it, wash it. They've thrown the fiber into the river, and the lady is just stamping on it, stamping on it, stamping on it. Now, this is a bit difficult to see what she's doing. What she's doing is the bark itself has a black outer bark. This is the part that you can see when you see the growing tree. And inside the bark, actually, it's quite a bit of a whiter stuff. It's not wood. There's the wood in the middle of the tree, then the bark. And the bark has black and white. So what she's doing now, she's separating. She's put the bark. How can I show you? Whatever. I can't. Whatever. She's got a stand on her bench. She puts the bark on white side down, and she scrapes from the back until the black side comes off. There's videos about this, and you can pull through. She's getting rid of the black and leaving just the white bark. And the white bark is the part that is going to become the washi paper. Here we are again. You know what's happening here. Hang it up, put it out in the sun, dry it, dry it, dry it. There's people here who know what's going on, so good, good. Bast fiber. Next step, we've now jumped ahead. It could be a long time because the white fiber, you'll be used the same year, but we've jumped ahead. She's now again washing, washing, washing in the river, getting it softened up, ready for the next step. And this is done just before the next step. Here it goes. This is now getting ready for boiling. And they haven't actually shown another step in between here. They have to make an alkali mix. This is not being boiled in bare water. It's being boiled in water that is very high alkali. It's like making lye, actually. Before they do this, they get soda ash. They pour hot water through it. It picks up alkali from the ash. So she's boiling that white fiber now in a very, very strong alkali mix. X 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. The time and alkali strength combined. The stronger the alkali is, the less time it needs to be done. Kozo ramen, hey, look at that. Ramen, ramen, ramen. And here we go. It's now come out of that thing. It is totally, totally softened up. The purpose of the boiling is to separate the fibers and just let the thing turn into tinder, sort of mush. Those batches of fibers, they get rinsed, they come here, and these ladies are doing what's called chiri tori. Chiri is the black specks and stuff that's left inside the fiber, and they've got to be taken out. And you've seen me complain. We get our woodblock prints, maybe it's a nice print, but there are little black specks here and there. These ladies are taking those out. And in the case of kurudani washi, they leave a lot in, actually. This piece of paper we're looking at right here, there's black specks all over it. But they were doing the work required for the particular requirements. So it looks like a noodle factory. To show if you didn't know what this was, you could take all these pictures and say, this is how we make Japanese ramen. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 3. You grow the ramen trees, you pull them off, and here you go. Here's your noodles. Out they go, ready for slurping down. Next. Okay, this is a bit of a sidetrack now. This is the, excuse me, this is the mulberry fiber. It's still in clumps and streams and clumps and streams. This is mulberry fiber. To make the paper, we need mulberry fiber, plus we need, I forget what it's called, it's a suspender. We're going to jump forward. You know how they do the rocking. The mulberry fibers would just sink to the bottom of the tub and you wouldn't get anything. So they need something in the tub that keeps the fibers in suspension. And that is hollyhock root, the root of a certain kind of plant. She's got some of the roots here, and she is smashing them up. They will sit in her tub and sort of, not ferment, but they will let go of their ooziness. And it turns out it's stuff that's really, I don't know the English word again. It's like you spittle, it's sticky and stretchy and whatever. And you put that, here's the flower itself. That should have come first. There's the flower, it's a type of hollyhock. There's the root. You smash those up and it makes this on a glutinous, gelatinous thing. So that has gone into the vat. Have we got these in the right order? Yep. I'm peeking here ahead. Yep. So in the vat in front of her is the mulberry fiber has gone in there. No, there's a step missing. They didn't beat the fiber. Where's the step missing? Sorry for cheating by peeking ahead here. There's no beating step. I wonder if I don't have a full set here. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a major, major, major step missing. Okay, they've got the chitty picked out. The next step is the fiber goes on a big, heavy wooden board, and you beat the crap out of it. You beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, until it all separates into its tiny little fibers. Sometimes this is done by hand. Sometimes they're using a nagi-naga beater. It goes around and around and around. Maybe I'm missing it, or they just didn't make one. Anyway, there it is. There's the tub full of the mulberry fiber and that mucilaginous stuff. That's the word, I guess. In it goes, and the fibers float in here and scoop, scoop, scoop. Up you go. Yeah, we're missing the best part, the beating, the Bob Ross part. That's all. After it's scooped, it's of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have the paper here now being squeezed by a little lever press with stones on it. And Timothy Barrett was here in the 1970s before I came. He went to millions of these workshops. He documented it. There's an excellent book published by Weatherhill called Japanese Papermaking. It's by Timothy Barrett. It's fantastic documentation for all this. And he talks about one of the first times he did this. He spent hours and hours stacking his paper, 100 sheets, 200 sheets. He puts them in here, starts getting the press ready. You've got to press slowly and get the water out of it. And it turns out if you put a bit too much weight on it at the beginning, it goes slump and all the stuff turns to liquid and it goes all over the floor. And I guess he lost the batch this way. So the paper here is having the moisture pressed out of it. Then away you go. The drying boards are ready here. There's a sheet already on it. This lady is peeling off one sheet of wet paper. She's going to lay it on the drying board, and out they go into the sunshine outside. And this is your classic paper-making village scene. Each of the houses, there's people busy making paper, and outside in the sunshine, the paper is drying and bleaching in the sun. We don't see this anymore, but even when I first came to Japan, you'd see this from the train somewhere now and then. But these days, no, it's gone. There's only a handful of families making paper, and they mostly do it indoors, the drying. They get an artificial drying thing with gas. Here you go. The paper now gets come off the boards, inspected one by one, and there they are, ready for printmaking. Ready for printmaking. So this has not covered all of them, and I don't know, maybe what I've got here is an incomplete set. I don't know, or maybe they had their count and they made the parts that they thought were important. Very nice little set for us to have. It's not woodblock prints, but it's certainly very much related to our work. I know nothing about the artist or who made it or anything about it. Once I get some time, we'll do a bit of research and look it up. So there you have it. I'm sorry it's not an actual woodblock print today, but I tell you now, for the show and tell, today's Saturday. Monday, it's going to be one of two things. The show and tell on Monday is either going to be this package, which came also yesterday, and this is dynamite, or it could be that package that I'm waiting to come any moment, which is, it's once in 5 years, kind of an event. So there's lots of interesting show and tell coming soon to a Twitch stream near you. My God, I've talked too much today and didn't get any work done. Right now, I'm headed for FedEx. Pack this box, get ready for the FedEx shipping, which is, they're going to be here at 10 o'clock, and they are always on time. Okay, it's been a bit scattered today. Whatever, I'm sorry, a bit hyper. Maybe I had too much coffee before I started the stream today. No idea. Was anything produced from the outer dark bark? I don't believe so. I think that just goes out. The inner sticks were used. They became binding for wooden buckets. These days, I don't know. They probably just go out and out. Lots of questions. I missed them all. I'll look at them for lunch. See you again in 2 more days. This is Saturday morning. I'll be back here Monday morning, Sunday evening for most of you. We've got more carving and dynamite show and tell. Thanks for this, and I'll see you then, and I am going to get packing some prints. Bye for now. Thank you again.